In a living room very much like yours, two women made up a podcast on how movies link up to each other, and they called it 6 Degrees of Feature Film.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6 Degrees of Feature Film podcast. I am Robert Stack, host of Unsolved Mysteries, also known as Miss Movies, also known as Brianne.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, I'm Stacey Howard, your co-host.
Yes.
And I'm an unsolved mystery in myself, so...
You are.
I am.
100%.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So what's going on today, Stacey? What do we have?
We have
happening?
a guest
We do.
in-house. So exciting.
Not only do we have a guest,
Yeah.
we also have new equipment, which
Yes.
we're kind of figuring out for the first time.
It's all the colors of the rainbow. Beautiful, beautiful coat.
Yeah.
I love it.
But
doesn't have
that
pink,
is not the
that's
most
okay.
exciting part. The most exciting part is straight from Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have Mark Tordai.
Hello.
Hey, Mark Tordai.
Hi.
Hi.
Gotta say
Welcome.
the whole name. That's
Mark
how that
Tordai,
works.
yes. Mark Tordai. It's a weird name, Hungarian, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And
Thank
you're
you so
from
much. Yeah,
Toronto.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Toronto. I've spent most of my adult life living abroad, and part of that was living here in Los Angeles, so that's why I kind of come back every couple of years. But yeah, I flew in yesterday from Toronto.
And you're going to a film festival this weekend.
The Turner Classic Movies Film Festival, which I did 2 years ago, where they just show, like, honestly, just tons of classic movies. This year they're showing, like, Network and The Conversation and The King of Kings, like, just
Right.
tons and tons of great classic films.
I heard they have a theme, like this year it's about feelings or movies that make you feel or something, and then, which could be anything, so thanks, Turner Classic Movies.
Very
but,
specific.
Very
but it's
specific.
anything up to 1980 is the parameters,
Okay.
I believe.
Yes,
so
because
nothing
they are,
beyond that.
yeah,
Obviously they
Network
want to go.
Conversation, of course, is the 70s. So, yeah.
Ooh, Conversation, that's one of my favorites.
And Francis Ford Coppola is going to be at that screening.
Oh.
They're also doing the Manchurian Candidate, and
Ooh.
Angela Lansbury is going to be there.
Oh my
I saw her in a one-man show or one-woman show
Uh-huh.
a few years ago in downtown LA, and she's like my hero because I grew up watching Murder, She Wrote.
Of course.
And it's not my guilty movie pleasure. I honestly love that show, and I'm a 32-year-old
Murder, She Wrote
man.
is legit, okay? The opening
Yeah.
scene, and she's, like, typing, and it's another Unsolved Mysteries
It is.
It is.
It's
in
all
that
related.
whole area. Yes.
12
All
seasons,
related.
264 episodes. I've seen them all at least 3 or 4 times. I'm not
She's
kidding.
great.
Wow.
She's
That
still a
is-
fox, too.
Yeah.
She still looks good.
Yeah, and she's I think she's 90.
She's a silver
actually.
fox.
She is. She's a silver
Yeah.
fox. It's a beautiful lady. I like me some Angela Lansbury.
Well, I'm going to have to check this out next time that it comes around.
Be next
Every year?
April. Yeah,
Okay,
every April. 2 years ago, it was the first week of April. Now it's the last week of April.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's always like at the Egyptian or the Chinese theater in Hollywood.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm totally going to check that out because I would like to attend.
Yes, classic films.
I
are
like
awesome.
movies.
Oh,
Hey.
we like movies. Hey, we have a podcast.
What do you know? So today our feature film is a film that I haven't seen, but my other two friends have. So we're going to talk about Midnight Special. So I'm going to kind of be asking the ridiculous questions that people who haven't seen a film will ask.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
hopefully you guys can answer them.
Yes.
So tell me what this film is about.
Midnight Special is essentially a Superman film. At least that's how I viewed it when I was watching it. A little boy the whole movie is kind of a slow build and a slow, revelation of what exactly was going on. But he was raised in a very religious, almost cult-like atmosphere with his parents, and he has special powers. And you don't know what they are, you don't know what it means for the world, but he is a normal little boy who has these extraordinary abilities. And his parents, his father specifically, played by the great Michael Shannon, who I love dearly, is trying to protect him and also fulfill the prophecy that he's been talking about. And so the whole movie is about getting him to a specific place, but on the way, a lot of obstacles they have to get through. They meet people try and stop them, people try and help
Of course,
them.
as they do. It's E.T.
Yeah.
with a human
Yeah.
as E.T.
Yeah,
It's
basically.
very similar. It's pretty
Okay.
much, I would say, the story structure of E.T.,
Mm-hmm.
but done very differently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it's more of a thriller. I think E.T. is obviously more of an adventure family movie.
Right.
Right.
This is more of like a sci-fi thriller. So the elements of suspense are heightened much more.
You had me at sci-fi,
Yes.
and then you sealed my
Yeah.
coffin with thriller. So
Yes.
there we go.
Those are my two favorite genres
Okay,
of all
good.
time.
The
Mhm.
crossovers are
Yes.
amazing.
Which,
Yeah.
I was surprised at. This movie, when I was watching it, I was like, this movie is very intense. It can be very dark at times. There is violence. there were a ton of kids in the audience, like way more than I expected. Like parents and like little like 5 and 6 year olds. And I was like, is this movie appropriate for children? I don't think it was, because there was some really like expansive, like what are we doing in the universe? Who are we? Like some incredibly intense stuff. And I was like, I don't know why these little kids are here, but there was like tons of them.
They're there because there's a kid in the movie, and so people think it's appropriate to bring their children.
I know, but the trailers even look dark too. So
I would say that the marketing was not great on Midnight Special. Unfortunately, it's bombing. Last time I looked, it was a week ago. It had only made $4.4 million on a $28 million budget, which is really bad.
Yeah.
For this movie is incredible.
It's so
one
good.
of the most original science fiction thrillers you'll ever see.
Where do you think the money went? Like what?
It went to Batman vs. Superman because the studio is Warner Brothers.
What I mean is in the budget, the $28 million. Who's getting that $28 million?
I don't know if it's Michael Shannon because he's worked with Jeff Nichols before, but obviously he's got to get paid. But I can't see him making more than $5 million, not more than 10. I don't know.
I mean, it'd be for the special effects, I guess. There's incredible special effects in this.
They failed to realize that marketing is where we should have spent our dollars.
Even the title, like Midnight Special, I liked it, but I had a lot of friends who looked at it online. They were very confused by what it meant, and then again, it's a kid, but it's not a kid's film. I think it's one of these movies where you can't really boil it down into something marketable. It's almost like back in the early 80s, there's a movie called Repo Man with Emilio Estevez. It's an amazing movie, but back then it bombed because how do you sell that? How do you sell like a sci-fi, punk rock LA movie? It's kind of the same situation. Like how do you sell a little kid who's got special powers but who's not a superhero? But it's a thriller, but it's also very slow. And there's not a lot of action in it, but there is some. So it's like, how do you sell that movie to,
10
people?
E.T. Lane.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it would be, because it is a thriller. It is dark. It is very, very heavy. And I was I was surprised by, but there's also moments of light. It's very emotional. You feel for this child. You feel for the love that he has for his father, that his father has for him. It's not family friendly, but it is about a family. So I think that's the difference, that people hear the word family, they hear the word child, father, son, they think, oh, that's something I can see with my child. No, it's not. Do not take your children and see this. This is heavy shit. So,
exactly.
No. Yeah.
True. Now, we're going to put that on the poster.
This is heavy shit.
Easy out.
It's easy out.
6 degrees of feature film.
Exactly.
Here's what I want to know. Kirsten Dunst, she has a special place in my heart. I grew up with her. She was big when I was a teenager. She's about my age. So, how is she?
Fantastic.
She's fantastic, and I had a massive crush on her in high school for sure. She was Mary Jane from Spider-Man, and she was in what was that movie? The high school movie she did with Mila Kunis.
Bring It On. Oh no, that's not it.
With Mila Kunis?
Yeah.
Get Over It.
Get Over It.
Get Over It.
What is that? I've never heard of this movie.
Colin Hanks was in that.
They actually filmed that.
Yeah.
They filmed that in a high school in like Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada. So that was which is near Toronto. So anyway. That's just a random pointless fact I'll be giving them every once in a while.
Okay, anything that has to do with Toronto.
Exactly. Pretty much.
She also is in Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Yes. Directed by a guy.
Alaska.
What was his name? David Michael Jan or something, who was a member of a comedy group called The State. David Wayne and Michael Showalter came from.
Yeah.
That's his own. I think this is like his only movie that he directed. It's too bad because it's awesome. Mockumentary.
It's fantastic.
Kirstie Alley's in it. She's great.
Yes.
She's so good.
We've talked about this.
Yeah,
on our
we
show.
have.
Okay.
I've done that one, and then
fantastic.
also the writer of Drop Dead Gorgeous also wrote. She plays the judge, the female judge, the one that's super quiet. She's the writer of it. She also wrote Sugar and Spice, which is another great film.
I remember that one.
She is
High
hilarious.
school cheerleaders.
Yes.
But
Yes.
she's great, Kirsten Dunst.
Okay.
It's like, because she hasn't really done that much in a while. Like, she was the
She's
girl
on
for a
Fargo.
while. Yeah, that's
right.
true. I've not
she's
seen
on Fargo.
unfortunately. But yeah. But as far as films, I think in the mid-2000s, her career kind of went down a little. She did that Cameron Crowe movie that apparently wasn't very good.
Oh, Elizabethtown.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Was that good or not? I don't know. Anyway.
We didn't see it.
Yeah.
Well, then I think
know.
she's coming back kind of with more indie films, like she did
That's
On
right.
the Road, and she dates, oh my god, what's his name that played Brad Pitt's nephew in Troy and is super gorgeous. They were in On the Road together. What's his name?
Orlando
What's
Bloom?
his name?
It's okay.
something.
Yeah.
But they date, and they were in a movie together. And so I know, I kind of keep up with her life. I don't know why. But,
Why not?
but she
I like
does
it.
lots of great indie films now. And I'm loving it. Like, she doesn't need to do big Spider-Man movies anymore. She's like, I did the whole thing. So she's doing her actress thing now. And
This is a movie I
into
want to
it.
see. This is like one of the times where my schedule didn't line up correctly, so it was either I had to make a choice of seeing this movie or doing something else, and I chose the other thing because I felt like I had to.
How dare you?
So,
Was it
yeah.
movie related, that other thing?
No.
Then what? Why?
It was self-related,
Oh,
so that's how that works. You know, I gotta come first.
You gotta take care of yourself, boo.
Exactly.
Boo boo.
Well, let's move it on to our next films, because we are going to do Michael Shannon as our link, because this is how
So
our
exciting.
show works, and we haven't gone over this in a while, and I feel sad if there's any new listeners. What we do is we take one film, which is our feature film, which today is Midnight Special, and we show how that movie links up to 6 other films. So we talk about 7 total films, and we have like a theme. So our theme for our next 2 films is going to be Michael Shannon, and then off of those Michael Shannon films, we'll do different themes off of each movie. So there you go.
Exciting.
And
I
then
love
we'll have to,
Michael
like,
Shannon.
off the cuff. This is a non-prep episode, so
Literally no prep.
we'll have to, off the cuff, figure out our link to Kevin Bacon. So
We decided the
So we'll see
movie
how that
goes.
15
We'll figure it out.
seconds ago, so.
all right. So let's go with Michael Shannon movies. Let's talk about Mud first.
Yes.
Now, Mark, you have or
I've
have
seen
not
it,
seen
and I
Mud.
own Mud.
Okay. Oh,
I've seen it
sweet.
once. Yeah, it's good.
Very excited. I like Michael Shannon in this role in
Yes.
Mud as like the older brother, I should say.
Yeah, and he's like
He's
kind of the
so
perv.
hilarious.
You remember
Yeah.
where he's like has a girlfriend, he left, and he's like, some people like that, you know. He's so funny. He really is so funny as
He
an actor.
is.
He has just this. Can I just go off on a tangent about Michael Shannon for a second?
You
He
sure
has
can.
this intense, intimidating yet like sexually satisfying aura to him,
Where are
and
we
I'm just
going?
very into it.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
very into it. Like he could
So
like
he's your
kill
Chris
you.
Evans.
He's my Chris Evans.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he could like kill you, but also be very seductive, and he'll probably
That's-
kidnap
that's
you,
a
but like
thing?
you'll like it. I don't know.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome.
Oh.
That's exactly what I would
Great
get for
Blink
Michael
182
Shannon.
song, also title of a book.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
random stuff.
There you
I
go.
know, just
There
random
you go.
stuff.
No,
You know,
always
Beauty and the
about
Beast,
random stuff.
Stockholm Syndrome.
There you go,
Yep.
Yes,
We got it all.
exactly.
Patty
exactly.
Hearst.
Patty Hearst. I
Patty
was literally
Hearst.
gonna say that. There's a documentary about that. That's a movie.
Oh
so-
man.
Oh,
There's
is
so
there?
much.
Because
There
I know the information, like the basic facts of what happened
Yeah.
back then, but I'm not too familiar with the story, so I need to watch that documentary.
It's a
What's
great
it called?
documentary. I do not remember the name.
Okay, I'm
but
gonna
I've
Google
seen
it and I'll
on
find
TV.
it.
Yes,
And it's probably on
absolutely.
Amazon Instant
It's a
Video.
big one. I think A&E did it or something like
Okay,
that.
okay, I'll probably watch it then because I'm very curious.
Nice.
Yeah.
Back to Mud.
Back to Mud.
Back to Mud and Michael
Hey.
Shannon. So he's a small role in this film, but a pivotal role. And he
Yes.
has he injects some of that comedy in there, which needed it because there are very intense moments in Mud. Some dark shit. Again,
Yes.
Dark
this shit
shit.
is dark.
Yeah.
This is Jeff Nichols
Yeah.
as well.
Yes,
Hey,
same
and
director.
the other film we're going to talk about is Jeff Nichols also. And Jeff Nichols hasn't really done too many
Like
things. He's
4
like,
movies or
yeah,
something?
he's
Yeah.
up and coming.
But every movie is like, well, that was fucking great. Like
Yeah.
every
He's
time, I'm
actually
like,
got
go.
one
that's
that's
incredible.
coming out with
Okay.
Michael Shannon this year. I forget the
Yes.
name, but he's in an interracial. No, it's him and Joel Edgerton.
Oh,
Or
okay.
excuse me,
okay.
Joel Edgerton and an African American woman, and they play an interracial couple. I think it takes place in the 60s, and they're arrested.
Oh,
Oh, man.
And that I think
That's
comes
going to
out
be
this
some
year.
heavy shit.
heavy
guys.
shit.
That's
Yeah.
our tagline for
This
this
is
And it's
some heavy
probably
shit.
on the poster.
Yeah.
it will be.
I do know someone who does movie posters.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So I'm
Put
going
it
to put that
there.
on there.
Yes,
Great.
please,
Yeah.
please do so. Put in a word for me.
I will.
That sounds incredible. I love Joel Edgerton too, which he's done in Mud, but I love everything he does. He also directed this movie called Felony, and he wrote it, I think, or directed it, something like that. It's
Fake
him.
Facts.
Yeah, Fake Facts. But he definitely did something with the movie. It's him, Jai Courtney, which I know everyone doesn't love, but Tom Wilkinson, who is
Oh,
incredible.
yeah.
But then they're all like Australian. So Joel Edgerton was like, I'm gonna do like my Australian little indie film, and they all play like dirty cops, kind of. It's great. It's on Netflix.
Interesting.
Watch Felony.
That's a
It's,
Joel Edgerton. Yeah, Joel
yeah, it's a Joel Edgerton thing. Yeah, so
Because
watch
he did
that.
The Gift last year,
That's
which was
right.
unbelievable.
Gift was
Right.
fucking great.
It's a Hitchcockian movie.
Yes.
And the truest sense of the word.
Oh my gosh,
Sorry.
it was so
Gift
crazy.
Gift didn't hit me like it hit
What?
you.
Oh,
I
it was-
appreciated it.
it was
I will
disturbing.
say.
I
I will
was
say I
so
appreciated the film.
Man.
I got what it was going for, but it just didn't resonate with me as many
Gordo,
people
the weirdo,
gush
and-
over it.
Gordo the
Yeah,
Weirdo
Those
was
little
great.
things that they do, he writes that on the, on the board on his refrigerator, and then later there's a consequence. Like that's a very Hitchcockian type.
Whoa,
I think
the
it was
electricity
the kid
just
from
blinked.
Midnight Special.
It was, yeah.
He's
He's in the bathroom.
It was
his eyes
almost
are
like
shining.
the sun blinked because
Yeah.
we just have the sun
Like,
coming in right
it was
now.
like, guys,
that was weird.
Whoa,
Anyways.
that was creepy.
Back to mud.
Back
Hey,
to mud. Hey, this happens all the time.
Tangents are
We'll
great.
talk about one movie and then one actor and then this one thing they did at the one time with the guy, and then we'll go off 15 minutes.
I
And
loved
talk about
Reese
18
Witherspoon
movies.
in Mud. I thought that she
Yes.
did very well and
Mhm.
had a very small role as well. And
Mhm.
what was her name? Juniper or something like that? I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah, I think so.
I appreciated her and her interaction with the younger boys.
Mhm.
I don't even remember their names, but they were really good, both of them.
And
Ty
it's,
Sheridan, wasn't it?
Ty Sheridan
is
one
great.
Of them.
yeah.
He was amazing. And what else has he been in?
I mean, he's coming up in X-Men.
Yeah,
He was also in
yes.
Joe with
I've heard
Nicolas
that was good,
Cage,
too.
which I didn't see, but I heard was great. I love Ty Sheridan. He is such a... He's just like this very, like, kind of innocent, fragile, beautiful little boy in
Yeah.
this film, and I just wanted to protect him so much. And he loves relationships. He loves love. He wants that for everyone, and that's what he wanted for, he saw it failing in his own parents' marriage, and so he wanted to help Matthew McConaughey keep that, and I thought that was a wonderful way to introduce this character and for us to feel sympathy for him and what he's doing and justify why he would help this weird, strange, homeless man. Like, that makes no sense, but he's like, it's for love, I have to do it. And I thought that was great. So I love Mud. I think this movie's fantastic. I think it's still on Netflix.
I liked how small that movie was, too. I mean, it's really... Most of it takes place on that island, and it's in a boat, right, that he's living in? Sort of like a shipwrecked boat or something, am I not mistaken?
Yes.
So it's just
Like
I've
in
seen
a
it once,
tree.
like years ago.
Yeah, the boat had
exactly,
basically
that's
there was like a
right.
flood, and so the
Yes.
boat was up there in the tree and it was stuck, and then they tried to repair it so that he could go
And then
away.
there's like some scenes with Reese Witherspoon in a motel. Like, it's not a big movie at all, but it's
Right.
just all drama and well written and everything. Like, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's all in like a little, takes place in, is it Louisiana?
I think
Some kind of, it's like kind of swamp territory.
Like
on
the Mississippi River.
Yeah,
or
something like that. Like, everyone lives in boats and everything. Everyone's job is like
Boathouses.
fishing, houseboats,
Houseboat.
stuff like that. I think that's houseboats.
Boat.
And
Property taxes and
everyone's
houseboats.
job has to do with the river, and that's actually another aspect of the film is that industry had been suffering, I think, since Hurricane Katrina, maybe, and so that whole area was like very used to that industry and fishing and everything, and then it was suffering, and so everyone was like moving away and like failing, and marriages were breaking up. Like, that was another part of the film that I really liked. It was like another character in itself was the way that they lived. It wasn't like the suburban beautiful homes and stuff. It was like
which is pretty much every other movie.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. Which I get tired of.
The white people problems.
How dare
no.
they?
Oh no,
those-
your 3-bedroom household doesn't have all the
Yeah.
knickknacks it wants.
Oh no, your son is escaping from a cult.
Yeah.
He's special. Everyone's kid is special, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
this is true.
So I want you to tell us now about Take Shelter, because
Okay.
I've seen the last time that I was ever in a video store was
They still exist?
They did.
Okay.
Last time I was ever in a video store, the store owner named Hamlet would that's his name, would make recommendations. He was awesome. He always had the best recommendations, and before his store closed, he was like, I have a movie for you. It's Take Shelter. You should watch it. I didn't, but I should have.
Yes, you
And
should
so, like, anytime I see Take Shelter, I think, Hamlet, video store.
Oh.
I miss it.
This
I
is-
should watch it.
I know that it's because Netflix in Canada is different from Netflix in the United States, but it is on Netflix in Canada, so it might be on Netflix in the US.
Maybe.
But if it is, I definitely recommend you see it. Basically, what Take Shelter is, it's another kind of like your heart will be wrecked in the end. You'll be very like moved by it, kind of thing. It's a father who's played by Michael Shannon, and it's his wife is played by Jessica Chastain, who's unbelievable.
I didn't know Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, and then they have a daughter who is deaf. And is she deaf? I want to say she's deaf. I'm going off memory. That's the worst thing for me. But and he's building a storm shelter. They have a storm shelter. They're in Ohio in their backyard, and he's got this motivation to make the storm shelter like bigger and able to put more food in, just because he has this feeling that like some big storm is about to happen. It's like inevitable. He's seeing things. He's getting visions. Very prophetic.
And so we don't know
And
if
so-
it's just in his head
Exactly.
or if it's actually going to
So
happen.
it's extremely Twilight Zone,
Uh-huh.
and the end is like, it's so awesome. Now, not a lot of people like the end, but I, for one, loved it. I loved the end. And, yeah, I absolutely love the ending because, to me, I don't know, it was bittersweet, put it that way. So, I would say definitely check it out because it is one movie that will really mess with your head. You don't really know what's going on, and then by the end of it, you know, you'll definitely love it or hate it, but I just loved it. And Jessica Chastain is unbelievable.
She's my
like-
girl crush.
She's like one of
Love
the
her.
best actresses, or the best working today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I get her and Bryce Dallas Howard sometimes confused.
Yeah.
Which I think is nuts because I never get them confused. I don't
Well,
see the
they look very
similarities.
similar.
They
Kind
started
of.
to kind of rise to fame like in a similar time. So that's why. I think that's more the important part of why the confusion happens.
See, but I knew Bryce Dallas Howard because she was in Spider-Man. She played Gwen Stacy.
Yes.
And I knew her from like The Village and stuff, which was
Mhm.
kind of early 2000s. So I guess I knew her
2004.
more. Yeah.
It's like the crossover.
Yeah.
Like now, okay, we've started with this. Now we're moving on.
Now,
we're upgrading.
Whoa. Are you calling Jessica
No.
Chastain an upgrade from Bryce Dallas Howard?
Well, I don't know.
Dim's fighting words.
Jessica
Whoa.
Chastain is a much better actor, though.
She
is.
is.
Much,
So-
much better.
But
Mhm.
I feel like Bryce is now doing other things, right? Like she's
Yeah. Jurassic
more in
World.
the
Yeah,
back
she's in Jurassic World.
of the camera. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Who knows?
I don't know what she's doing. She was in a big movie.
But you've
so
got to
I
be
think
in the right mood to sit and watch Take Shelter because it's basically a lot of watching Michael Shannon
Go
make
crazy.
a storm shelter
Okay.
Mhm.
and then really believe in what he's doing and then not really sure if he's nuts, not really sure if he's telling the truth.
Mhm.
So you got to be into it. And it is
Kind of like this
very
podcast
slow.
and me
Yeah.
continuing to upgrade equipment. Am I
Until-
We're
nuts?
getting better and
Because-
better.
because an
Will this
agent
make
is
a
coming,
difference?
A producer and an agent's coming for sure. And
Oh,
you're
of
getting
course.
visions
Of
when you wake up
course.
in the,
We're
in the
totally,
middle of the night
we're
and
totally getting picked
you hear the
up by
doorbell ring and some
Nerdist.
guy in a suit with a card and
There it is,
in a limo
guys.
and yeah. I
We
hear
heard you get a colorful
There it
sound
is.
mixer, and wait, what's this called? I literally don't even
You're
know.
upgrading to video?
What?
All right. Anyway.
Perfect. Well, I need to watch Take Shelter.
You need to watch
It's
Take
been on my
Shelter.
list forever, and for
Yeah.
whatever reason, I knew, once again, it's some dark shit that I was like,
Yep.
I'm not in a good place right now. I was like,
You have to put yourself into that.
yeah, it needs to be like Sunday, like some time
Rainy.
off, time to cry,
It's an
maybe.
I would say it's an evening movie. If you're ever
Oh.
like, I can't get to sleep or I don't want to get to sleep past like midnight,
Mhm.
start it at like 11.
Okay.
And by the time the movie's over,
11.
it'll be after. I know 11's when I usually go to bed, but still, I'm just saying if you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like one of those, or start it
Right.
at 10, it'll be over by, just after
By
midnight,
midnight.
and I thought that, would help. I don't know.
Rock you gently to sleep.
Well, or keep you up all
Or
night
keep you-
thinking. But
Thinking,
still,
like,
that's
I
okay
gotta
sometimes.
build
I
a
have to
shelter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's what I'm doing now, guys.
say. And then the next
Wonder
time
where I
it
can
rains.
fit my bunker in my apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Nice.
All right, we're gonna watch it. Okay.
Now we are going to, we went from Midnight Special, we did Michael Shannon films with Mud as well as Take Shelter, and
Mhm.
now Stacey and I are going to go off of Mud, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to choose Matthew McConaughey, which has been a theme before,
Yes.
but we're going to continue that theme because he's done plenty of films.
Mhm.
He's
'Cause
done
we can do
lots.
more than one theme,
We can.
for sure.
I mean, we've done like pre-reconnaissance.
Uh-huh.
We've
Yeah.
done his normal ones, and now we're gonna do post-reconnaissance. Well, mine is. Yours is
Mine
pre.
is
But
free.
yours is pretty solid, though.
Okay.
Yours
Why don't
is pretty
you get
solid.
started for us.
Okay, so I of
Which
course
I have not seen.
am
Another
picking Dallas Buyers Club,
Mhm.
which I think it's on Netflix now or HBO Go. Maybe it's available somewhere that you can stream it if you don't have it on DVD. Which I'm all about streaming. I literally
Right.
stream every movie ever, so I'm all about telling people where you can find it. But I'm almost positive it's streaming on one of those two things. If not, on Amazon Instant Video for like $3 probably. Dallas Buyers Club, of course, he won the Oscar for it. Jared Leto did as well for playing Rayon. Is of course about the struggle for the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. It was set in the 80s, right? It was 82?
so.
82, I think.
I think it
I
was
forget the exact
Early mid.
the exact year of the film. But basically people were struggling with what kind of medication they should use, what resources were available to them. And this is about a man who contracted the virus and was like, I need to find some way to get better. These pills aren't going to work because they're going through like drug trials. So he basically started they had to start it's kind of like a club. So you pay your dues to the club, and then that way they give you medication for free. So it's technically not like buying the medication. And these little clubs would pop up all over. They started out in like San Francisco, where a lot of people were contracting the virus.
Where did they get the medications from?
A lot of the medications were just natural, like sometimes Mexico, Asia. He would travel around to like Amsterdam. But some of them, it's just like vitamins for your body, basically, like really, really strong vitamins for your body to help build up your immune system. But they were researching all this stuff to do, and so it's basically this guy, just a redneck from Dallas, from the South. I'm very familiar with his, he's in rodeos and like just big. That's like all my, cousins and uncles. They're all these big, very tough, like burly men. But he, grew up in this environment. And then he contracted AIDS, and they were like, oh, that's a gay people's disease. That, they knew nothing about it. And so he knew nothing about what to do. And being, he was incredibly intelligent, but just worked kind of a blue-collar job. He was like, I'm going to research what I should do, and came up with a solution. And he survived for years and helped thousands of people find treatment for it. So it was an incredible story if you haven't seen it. And Jared Leto was great and played, a transgender I don't know if he actually had the surgery. I can't remember exactly in the movie, but he was himself very different from everyone in his environment. And so Matthew McConaughey, growing up, being completely, averse to that, was like, who's this person? And, he led him into his life and really learned a lot about different kinds of people and, who deserves love, basically.
Opened his heart.
Yeah, opened his heart. It did. It opened his heart. So yeah, and Jennifer Garner's in it. And a bunch of people, and it's incredible. Watch Dallas Buyers Club; it's great. Yeah.
Mark, you liked it?
I enjoyed it a lot. Jared Leto, his performance, like he's a method actor, so like he's always in character, and he did an incredible job. Definitely
insane. I think he's actually an insane person.
Well, I think when you method act sometimes, and you get really involved,
that actually is the definition of insanity.
Yeah. Well,
method acting.
The late Heath Ledger with the Joker, and he really, put himself through a lot.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably,
Christian Bale. Once a director calls cut, you can't be like, hey, let's just go to craft service and be ourselves. There's something. I think maybe, I don't know.
There's a screw loose
Not
there.
to judge.
Just
but,
maybe a tiny one. Maybe. I mean, it makes for amazing performances.
Sure.
Yes.
But it also
it's worth
is
it.
Crazy.
They can destroy themselves for our own entertainment. This is completely normal and fine with me. My friend met Jared Leto. Yeah, it's fine with me. I'm watching on screen. This is totally worth it. Please go into your depression.
Because I paid $12. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. My friend met Jared Leto, actually. She works for Disney in finance. And she was walking around the hallway one day. I don't know why he was at the Disney lot. Maybe he was like negotiating something with Marvel, but then he ended up going DC. Who knows? But she was in there. She was like carrying some stuff, and she had just finished working out. I think like they have a little gym, on set or whatever. And he walked in. And he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And she goes, "Oh my God, you're Jared Leto." And he was like, "Yeah, what's up? Hey, you have really nice arms. You work out." Like he was like super sweet and was like walking out and like still talking to her and like was super, super nice. And he didn't have to be. He was just like genuinely had a conversation with my friend in the elevator. So we all love Jared Leto now. Like through osmosis, we're like, oh my God, he's so nice to us. We're like totally friends.
That's literally why he did it. Because he's like, this girl has friends.
Yeah, exactly. She will tell all her friends.
Female, whatever marketing will go up.
Yeah, exactly.
Demographic. And they literally have statistics on that. He's got a team.
Yeah, he has a team. He has a team. And, they're going to go see Suicide Squad now. No, they don't like comic books. They aren't like me. They do not like comic book movies. They're not into all this. They have no idea what Suicide Squad is. But they know Jared Leto. So they will go see that movie because he's in it. He's a Joker. So there you go.
That's
perfect.
all you need.
Hundreds of extra dollars.
Yes, it
is.
DC's that desperately needs it because no one's talking about Suicide Squad.
Right?
I'll probably see it 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe.
I think I will. I'm like really into Suicide Squad. I'm like very excited for it.
I'm excited.
But anyway, back to Jared Leto and Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, it was good. I mean, I really can't, talk about it too much without like gushing, but I just thought it was incredible.
Yeah, and McConaughey, all the weight he lost, his character arc was also very interesting because obviously he does start off being very homophobic.
Yeah.
When he gets his diagnosis, he basically says, I'm not gay, and he's wrestling with that, and they're saying, well, you don't have to be. And of course, there's almost like he gets accosted, or he accosts the doctor who tells him he's trying to sort of beat him up because he's frustrated. But then by the end of the movie, of course, he's dealt with so many people who have that condition, so he changes, and it's a really nice kind of arc.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved that a lot. It reminded me a lot of people that I grew up with that are homophobic, and I wish were different, and I wish that they would have this kind of story to where they eventually realize they are of their ways. So the film hit me right here in the heart. So
I don't think it takes a lot to change someone's point of view either.
You just got to know somebody. That's all.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it.
That is it.
Yeah. Or make them watch Modern Family.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you don't come out of that show being like Cam and who's the other guy? I'm sorry.
Totally forgot.
Yeah, but Cam and his husband on that.
Yeah,
it's
the other guy.
If you don't think that they're cool.
Yeah, and they're a beautiful
argument.
family and just struggling like everyone else.
Exactly.
She doesn't have the pink dress that she wanted. I can't believe it. Yeah. Every family goes through that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about a Matthew McConaughey film that is probably one that most people have seen, of course.
What?
And that's The Wedding Planner with
Yay!
Jennifer Lopez.
J-Lo.
Oh yeah, guys. But before I talk about that, I did want to talk about the first thing that Matthew McConaughey was ever acted in, and that is an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, hosted by Robert Stack. You can find this on YouTube. I don't know, I don't believe I saw it when the show was on. I did watch Unsolved Mysteries as a kid, and I would be terrified every night to go to sleep because there were unsolved mysteries, and what was going to happen, and was I going to die? Those were certain things that would cross my mind. So he's in this episode, and he's a reenacting actor, obviously, because you don't have the real people for those things. He does a really an amazing job. You have to see it. But he is one of the victims, and I recommend that. I recommend Unsolved Mysteries. By the way, you cannot find Unsolved Mysteries anywhere.
No.
You can't? It's
not
not
on
on DVD or anything?
No.
What?
This is the Unsolved
That's my
Mystery problem right now.
That's my childhood right there.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where so many people own it that they don't know who owns it or don't know who has the entire rights to it. So therefore, it's just out there and can't be
probably
back.
because it had to do with public crimes, like America's Most Wanted. He probably never really. I mean, that would be irrelevant because most of those crimes would be solved. But at the same time, if you somehow wanted to go back and watch them, maybe it's in the public domain or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Because I used to watch it on Lifetime.
They don't do it anymore.
But they used to, though, and they had marathons. Because I used to watch that, Golden Girls, Designing Women, and The Nanny on Lifetime all the time when I was little.
This is a big picture.
Those are very Lifetime shows.
Yeah, very Lifetime shows.
But you can find this snippet of him.
Okay.
You can still find that.
Okay.
At least the last time, whenever I saw it a few years ago, it was available. And that was when other things were not available. But this was the one thing that you could find. So I recommend looking that up. Robert Stack, Unsolved Mysteries.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey.
I'm trying to think of the theme song.
It's kind of
I keep having the X-Files theme song.
It's similar. It's very similar.
And then it's these are the unsolved mysteries. Robert Stack comes on. I love it. Okay, anyway,
Robert
back to
Stack. I got a quick story about Robert Stack.
What?
He was totally into my grandma.
What?
Yes. My grandmother was on some game show back in the day. I have no idea what.
As a host?
No, as a contestant on a show.
I got 20.
Yeah, and
questions.
he was totally into her.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, that's all I remember.
Was he the host of the show?
He was somehow involved, maybe a producer or something.
And he was like, "Hey, boo, what's up?" And she was like, "What?"
Probably. Okay. Anyways, that's all.
Oh, I love it.
Just remember that just now.
You had an affair with Robert Stack.
Yeah.
You did. You totally did via osmosis.
Maybe my mom is the love child.
Oh, Robert Stack is her grandfather.
You know the comedian Taron Killam from Saturday Night Live at all?
Yeah.
I think his great uncle is Robert Stack.
Wait, really?
That's another
I'm
Wikipedia
related
fact.
to Taron Killam.
Yeah. You are.
There you go.
Can you use those connections?
All right, guys. Wedding planner. Let's discuss.
Okay.
So Jennifer Lopez is a wedding planner, and she kind of falls in love with Matthew McConaughey. He is a pediatric doctor or pediatric surgeon or some sort of pediatrician. And basically there's some, like, he saves her from an accident, and so then he takes her to the hospital, and, you know, she's his patient or whatever, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this guy, and then it turns out that she is actually going to be planning his wedding. And they kind of had, like, not really a date before that, I don't know, kind of a thank you for saving my life situation, and then she finds out, oh, I'm planning your wedding. Yay! Hooray! Here's what I don't like about this movie, like everything else, because what? No, like none of this seems feasible to me. I don't like the idea of like one person swooping in before you're about to get married and like changing your whole life.
Yeah,
that's not okay. That's not okay.
It also has the guy from Grey's Anatomy plays her fiance.
Yes, I love him.
Which guy was that one?
Justin Chambers.
He plays the one that Katherine Heigl basically had a sexual affair with before she kind of married Denny. And then left. And then they got married, and then she left. I don't know. I didn't watch Grey's past like season 3, I think, but he was on Grey's Anatomy. He was a hot doctor. Yeah.
He was in another... He was in an independent movie that was based on the Zodiac, and he was one of the main detectives as well.
Ooh,
yes, I worked on that film.
Nice.
So there you go. Good times. No one saw it. I mean, people saw it, but not a lot of people saw it.
What'd you do on the film?
I did a lot of I read the script. I was an intern, so I read the script, and then I did a lot of the like pre-research for it, and that was about it. And then I had to go back to school.
But no credit, of course. Yeah.
No, thank you, an IMDb credit. So.
Oh, you did?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But not credited. I don't think I'm in the. I haven't seen it.
Pretty
so
good for IMDb.
Maybe a special thanks, but I doubt it.
You haven't seen the movie?
I haven't.
You gotta find it.
I know.
Yeah.
I did go to set one day when up in San Francisco.
You gotta see the culmination of your work.
I know.
All that research.
Robin Tunney is in there.
Yeah, she's
as
great.
Well. She's in the Zodiac movie.
She was in that. What's that witch movie that she was in?
She was in a witch movie.
Wasn't she? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
I might be complete.
No, that wasn't her.
Okay, I'm wrong then.
That was Fairuza Balk.
That's true.
But she could have been in a witch movie, I'm sure.
I don't know why I think of that. Anyway.
Hashtag fake facts. She's in a witch movie.
Is she in Practical Magic, Stacey?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Practical Magic is, I'm an expert on that film. Someday, when they make a Netflix series, Practical Magic, I'm playing Nicole Kidman's character. You are playing Sandy Bulls.
I can see that.
Yeah, totally. I got the big flaming red hair, especially when I don't do anything with it, which today... I didn't fix my hair, so it's a little big. It's filling up half the room. Yep. And I got a little spice to me, a little sass, so just like Nicole Kidman's character.
Okay, so last thoughts on the wedding planner.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the wedding planner.
Stacey, any last thoughts for you on the wedding planner? First of all, I own this film, guys. Why?
You own the wedding planner?
I own it, and I hate it. But I also liked it. I liked it before I was married, and then after I was married, I was like, no, I don't like this film.
I must comment, though, that's the worst thing that could ever happen to somebody. Like, if you fall in love with someone, and you're their wedding planner, and
that's probably the worst,
they get married, that's awful.
Would that happen?
I'm sure probably
I bet you. I'm
does.
sure. People have affairs all the time. You fall in love all the time. I bet you it has happened.
And then you gotta like stand back and clap when they're at the wedding.
And you're dying
like,
inside.
I'm really actually in love with this person.
Silently. You know what though? I think that as a single person, this movie is great when you're watching because you're like, oh look, this single woman has this beautiful, gorgeous doctor that's falling in love with her and totally willing. But then as a married woman, you're like, this bitch is trying to steal my fiance. Like. Total opposite.
We don't see it from the point of view of Bridget Wilson Sampras.
We're not supposed to.
We don't see it from her point of view.
Which it's got to be devastating. And I know she's like, oh, we haven't been in love for a long time or whatever. She was about to land a hot doctor, okay?
Yeah.
So I would be like freaking out if I was her. So, yeah.
He's probably making 6 figures at least. If not more.
For sure.
Doctors aren't as rich as they used to be. So.
Oh, this is true.
Well, this was 10 years ago, so.
Yeah, this is.
At least.
Did Wedding Planner come on the 90s or the early 2000s?
Was it early?
Was this 98 or was it like 2002?
It would probably be like I would guess 2000, 2002. Maybe.
No. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Still.
That was that time when romantic comedies.
I think that's a lose-lose situation all around.
Anyways, Wedding Planner. Good times.
Yep. There we go. Okay, so off of Take Shelter, what movies would you like to talk about? What would you like to be your link?
Well, okay, so because Take Shelter obviously has a reference to a shelter, I think one of the best movies, I know you've talked about it before, but one of the best movies from this year to come out, which is like, you know, a thriller that takes place in a bunker, is obviously 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes.
While it is obviously different from Take Shelter, there still is that idea of, you know, hiding yourself underground, trying to be safe. You're not really sure in 10 Cloverfield Lane what's going on. Is there actually something going on outside? Is there not? Take Shelter has a moment of that. They have like a moment of that where you're not really sure what's going on outside, because they do go into the shelter at one point. And I would say that's a really good one. Then two things that are related to TV, but since we've talked about Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes, we'll cross it over.
You and I are hardcore fans of the Twilight Zone.
We are.
I only discovered it really like probably 7 years ago. Of course, I knew about it and so forth, but I really devoured it about seven years ago, and I am a complete, like, you know, proselytizer, zoner.
Zoner.
Yeah. And every single person, like, you can even just ask me, hey, Mark, how are you going? I'll be like, you have to watch the Twilight Zone. Like, that's the first thing that comes out of my mouth.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care what you're asking me. You have to watch the Twilight Zone. You know, I will have flyers eventually. They're getting printed at the moment to hand out.
It's a card, you know.
Yeah. It's, whatever. Almost like a religion, I guess you could say. Anyway.
Sure.
But there is an episode, I think it's from the 3rd season, called The Shelter. And it's basically about a group of people in a town who are all racing to get into someone's shelter because they fear nuclear war, which is very much a common theme in the Twilight Zone. And then that was also satirized on The Simpsons, where Ned Flanders builds a fallout shelter, and everyone from Springfield tries to get in, and at the end they sing Que Sera Sera, which is one of my favorite episodes of all time. So those sort of 4 things, Take Shelter, 10 Cloverfield Lane, The Shelter, and then I forget the name of that particular episode with Flanders from The Simpsons. They're all are revolving around, you know, hiding underground, paranoia, trying to escape something, and there's always a mystery of not really knowing what's going on the outside, which I find very intriguing in thrillers and movies, because it plays with your mind and makes you guess, makes you think. It's not obvious, and I don't like obvious storytelling. I prefer ambiguity, and they all have that. Of course, The Simpsons does it satirically, humorously. But even in the end, the event that they're all getting into the shelter for doesn't really come to fruition, and it's really, really hilarious. So, yeah.
Yeah, like with 10 Cloverfield Lane, those first 2 acts, like, really hit it hard and do a fantastic job. And by the 3rd act, you're kind of like, all right.
I liked it a lot. I like the 3rd act a lot.
I mean, I was okay with it, but at the same time, I'm like, I wish it was different, because I was so invested in the first 2 acts that I was hoping for something different in my mind. I wasn't necessarily disappointed, but I wasn't necessarily like, yay!
I just feel like it made it a different movie, and it made it more of a studio film.
Yes.
And I was like, I really wish, you know, it would have gotten to that point. And then she goes like, oh shit. And then it stopped. And then I would have been like, this movie is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted as a movie, you know, snob that like doesn't want anything to be studio-ish unless it's a big studio film. And then that I feel like was a tack on. You know, like they just tacked it on and was like, oh, this is what people expect from these kinds of sci-fi movies. And I'm like, I didn't need that. And it made it this whole different thing, you know? So it changed how I felt about the movie. But it wasn't like it was poorly done.
No.
Everyone did a great job with everything involved in the film. But I feel like it was just someone being like, you need this, this, and this for it to make this amount of money. And so they did it. And I was like, well,
what you were saying kind of reminds me, and I forget the name of the episode, but I grew up in the mid-90s like yourself, and they had the rebooted The Outer Limits TV show.
Yes, that's a similar Twilight Zone.
Very similar anthology. So there's actually an episode. I'll try to get the name, where 4 people are assigned to 4 different bunkers all over the world, and at a certain point of time, they all have to sort of push a button. It's kind of like Lost board off of that idea. So they're sort of pushing buttons, and they have to do all these things because they believe that like they're basically the only 4 humans that are left in the world. long story short, right, there's this big catastrophic event that's happened, but you don't really know if it's happened, but it's all contained within these 4 people. And if, let's say, 10 Cloverfield Lane was more like that, I think that's what you're kind of saying, where it's actually in the bunker and you don't know what's going on outside.
Yeah.
It's better. Now, in the Outer Limits, they have a twist where, to spoil it, I mean, this is a 20-year-old episode.
I'm not going to go
but
looking for
the
it.
Earth has actually been destroyed, but you don't really see it. It is done very cleverly anyway. It's kind of, it would be a little harder to get into. I'd have to sort of explain a lot of backstory, but I think that's what you mean. Like, if it's more character, more in a bunker, more confined. But yeah, once they get out of that bunker, then it's a totally different movie, which I enjoyed.
I think that's because your mind is like creating what is outside that bunker.
Yes.
And then once you see, then it's almost a letdown no matter what.
That's it.
Because your imagination was so much greater than what is being displayed.
Yeah, if they didn't obviously show you the big thing, whatever that's going on, if they showed you just a little bit of it, I think it might have been more effective. And that's what they do in this particular episode of The Outer Limits.
Right.
They only show you a little bit of what's going on. So then your mind has to create what else is going on. And that to me is much more interesting, much more frightening as well.
I'm thinking of Logan's Run now,
Yes.
because that's kind of a bunker movie as well.
Yeah, they're in an entire city. That was from the Dallas in some like big conservation area or something. I can't remember what it is.
Or City of Ember. City of Ember.
That one, no.
That one's really good. You know what? City of Ember, I have a special little place in my heart because I didn't watch the movie. I read the book aloud to my 4th grade class when I taught 4th grade, and they didn't even know. The movie had come out quite a few years before I taught 4th grade, and so they didn't know that there was a movie that was attached to this, or at least no one spoiled that for my students and said like, oh, there's a movie of that, and then they go watch it or whatever. So I was reading, and you don't know like where they are until like at some point you know that the lights are going out, but you don't know why they can't see. Why is it all dark? They don't know that there's a whole underground city, but we know that because of trailers and things like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was really interesting to watch them and like hear their discussions of where they think these people are and what do they think's going on and why is this society like it is, because it's all set up very specifically. Like there's no telephones, you have a messenger, and that's like someone's job, and they send a message to someone else and you just tell them, and then they have to go tell the other person, and like they have all these specific jobs, and like certain things are running out, certain resources are running out, and they don't know what to do. And so then like there is like this time capsule that like pops open that they find in someone's closet. This is at the very beginning of the book, and they realize that there's plans for them not to be there anymore, but they don't know how to like convey that to everyone, and they don't know what they should do with those plans, because it's just like in like grandma's closet, and it wasn't supposed to be in grandma's closet. So it's really interesting. That one.
When was that made?
I don't. Bill Murray's in it. You know that.
Wow.
I want to say mid 2000s, if I'm guessing correctly, because I taught 4th grade in like 2009, so probably early enough that they wouldn't have known that it was around. But then when they watched the movie, they were like, "This is the greatest thing ever," because 4th grade.
That's awesome. Wow.
But yeah, City of Ember is awesome. Okay, all right, we'll watch. Amazing.
We'll watch.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't read many things, but that book is fantastic.
Cool. And
there's a whole series. I'm surprised that it's like, young adult. I'm kind of surprised they haven't continued to make the movies that go along with the series.
Yeah, so. could have been unsuccessful, though. That's the problem, right?
I guess. I'd have to look that up.
And they were going to do Golden Compass, which they did the first movie.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
and
Nicole Kidman was in that.
There's a series of books, but that bombed pretty badly. I think Nicole Kidman was in that one,
too. Her and Daniel Craig is in it, I'm pretty sure.
But did not do well.
It's like a polar bear, right?
There's like a talking polar bear.
Yeah, something like that.
Like
tried to do a whole, Chronicles of Narnia thing.
Yes.
Like, they tried to make it that, so...
Yeah. And it just didn't go. Just
like
wasn't
no one
successful.
cared.
I don't think it was critically well received either. So that tends to
Douse.
get rid of any future plans of a franchise or so forth.
Right. I guess though, if you had someone that really liked it that had a lot of money, they could do it.
I guess so.
I mean, that's
It's
how
always
life works.
possible. Yeah, that's true.
You got
Just
money?
have to-
Just throw money
You
at
just have
it.
to have a lot of money.
That's right.
Yeah.
I look around at certain places, I'm like, how do people have this kind of money? Like, walking around San Francisco, walking around parts of Los Angeles, I'm like, how are there so many, like, gajillionaires, like, around here? How is that possible?
Who knows?
Or they
Old
get those loans that
money.
the Big Short told us not to get, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Subprime means shit.
Yes,
That's all I
there you
learned
go.
off of The Big Short. Thank you, Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that we've done all of our things. Haven't we?
Yeah.
We have. Okay,
Mhm.
good. All right, so we started with Midnight Special.
Mhm.
From there, we went to Michael Shannon films, and we did Mud as well as Take Shelter from Mud. Stacy, you did Dallas Buyers Club, and I did The Wedding Planner.
Yes.
And we also talked a little bit about his Unsolved Mysteries first
Cameo.
acting thing.
Yes.
Mark,
Good job.
off of Take Shelter.
You
Off
did.
of Take Shelter, I had done 10 Cloverfield Lane, and then that led to an episode from like 1961, I want to say 62, of The Shelter from the Twilight Zone, and then that led to a very comical Simpsons episode from I think it was early mid-90s, and then that also mentioned mid-90s old or late 90s The Outer Limits episode,
Nice.
which I don't remember the name of that one, but it's a very, very good episode anyway.
I will let you know, you can find The Twilight Zone on Netflix.
Yes.
All but one season. There's one season you cannot find
Why?
for some odd reason. I
Number-
also
number
heard...
4.
Unsolved
Yeah.
Mystery.
They moved them to 60 or not
Yeah.
60-minute, but 1 hour episodes, and they're okay.
Got
That
it.
season's all right. So
They're like, let's go back to the purity of what Twilight Zone is.
That's right.
Twilight Zone also was rebooted, what, early 90s?
It was in the 1980s, just after the
Right.
82 movie, and then in
Okay.
early 2000s.
And I've heard rumors of another reboot. not sure.
Leonardo DiCaprio was going to make a movie, and it's been in development hell for like 5 years.
Oh, I meant a television show.
It may have turned into that as well,
Okay.
because he was attached to a production.
I'm glad to know he's
Yes.
a zoner.
Yes, he is.
Well, you know, Black
Yeah.
Mirror is basically the Twilight
is.
Zone. It's
Right.
incredible. If you haven't
Fantastic.
seen Black Mirror, it's on Netflix.
Yes.
So now is that like a BBC show? I
That is
know
BBC.
it's BBC.
It is
Okay, they
BBC.
made it, but it's basically the Twilight
Yep,
Zone.
6
Every
episodes.
episode, yeah, it's an anthology series. That's what it's called. Every episode is like different mystery. They have every great British actor ever in there, and it's incredible. Watch Black Mirror.
Yeah,
It's
that
great.
is the Twilight Zone of the 21st century. Probably the closest we'll get, and hopefully that may lead to another reboot. Because there's always interest in the Twilight Zone. As it gets older, people figure out how much impact it actually did have on pop culture and still does today,
Right?
and how many movies were inspired. And
It's insane.
It's a list. So
It's
Yeah.
insane. Max Landis will
Yes.
tweet about it often, and I'm always like, yes! It's like my favorite time when he tweets about
That's right.
Twilight Zone. But let's do some of our last things.
Okay.
We don't have movie link tweets because we just
No, we don't.
We just turned the mics on and we're like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. We do have. Do we have a Rocky impression we want to try?
I don't know if we have a Rocky impression. What
okay.
monologue would I do?
I
From
don't
what
even
movie?
know.
do something for Midnight Special. Like, I don't know.
What does he say?
I don't know. This
I
is
don't
the
even
good
know.
one.
I need
Yeah.
some specific
Okay.
lines to
All
go
right.
off of.
Okay.
So maybe let's
skip
just
that. We'll table
yeah, we'll
that.
just skip that for now. But I feel like Rocky, he wouldn't play the little kid because the little kid is a little too intelligent for that.
Okay.
But I feel like he would be the dad that didn't understand his child, so he would be very protective of him, but not really knowing what's going on.
All right.
So yeah.
Fair enough.
He would do
Can
that.
we figure out how Kevin Bacon could get to
No,
Midnight Special?
I feel like Kevin Bacon played a detective in some movie who also connected to Michael Shannon in some way. I'm almost positive.
Probably Sleepers.
Maybe. Well, what did Kevin Bacon just play a detective in? Was he in American Hustle?
He was in a movie called Cop Car.
Yeah, he was in a movie called Cop Car.
Oh yeah.
But we
That's
have to
a
like
little independent movie. Yeah.
yeah, we have to like connect it somehow. I'm sure he played a detective in someone who also played in a thing, and then goes back to Michael Shannon.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. So Kevin Bacon was in an animated film called Balto in 1995 with Michael Shannon, who was in Midnight Special.
Awesome.
So short little one link. There we go.
There it is.
There it is. Full circle.
Right.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Where can we find you, Mark? Thank you for joining us.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes,
No,
thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate this. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mark Tordai. It's MarkTordai, and I have 2 blogs. All my links are on Twitter. So I review Twilight Zone episodes, and then I talk about movies that either I love but no one else does, or everyone loves that I don't.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go.
I like it.
Perfect.
Stacey.
Perfect. You can find me on Twitter at SOHoward2012 and Instagram at Stacey O. Howard. That's it. I'm all over social media. Live tweeting movies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep. Where can we find you?
Yeah.
You can find me every goddamn day on Twitter. Hey, at Miss Movies. Say hi to me.
There you go.
I need more followers.
You do. You don't have enough. You only
I
have
don't.
like 6,000.
If I want to
That's
get
it.
on some other shows, I gotta get more.
I need more followers.
I'm just kidding.
I
don't
definitely
know.
need more
We all
followers.
need more followers.
We all do. We all need
I'm
more
close
followers
to
in
400,
this life.
so that's big for me.
Nice.
Okay.
That is
I
big. That
followed
is
you
big.
this morning,
True.
so
And I will
yeah.
follow you back.
Okay,
It's a
thank
solid,
you.
Yeah.
It's a solid 400.
Solid
It's the
400.
elite.
Yeah.
Guys,
Well,
it's
they
the
give you a
elite.
prize, I think, after. That's what I've been told. So.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you everyone for joining us. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
6 Degrees of Feature Film is produced by Stacey Howard and me. Special thank you to Ken Knapsack for our intro and Matt Brown for our artwork.